Hello everybody, this is Albert from Green Tea House. I hope you're doing well today. Today I'm going to give you the number one sign to know if you're drinking a really crappy Earl Grey black tea. Now, as you can see, I am recording from somewhere behind me. It's St. Peter's Basilica, so I'm over in Vatican City in Rome, wrapped around Rome. I have an appointment to go see the bones of St. Peter in a few minutes, so I'm going to record this beforehand. So I hope to do some episodes from different places on this trip that I'm taking with Casey. So, Earl Grey. We do sell a blue flower Earl Grey, and one of the reasons why we sell an Earl Grey is because Earl Grey is one of the most popular brands of tea out there. I guess it's not trademarked, but there's different tea brands that sell an Earl Grey. Earl Grey, the name Earl Grey comes from reputedly a British Earl, the Earl of Grey, who created it about 200 years ago. But it's kind of a apocryphal origin story. By the way, if you're not familiar with Earl Grey is a black tea mixed with bergamot. Bergamot is a citrus fruit, and so it's going to be infused with bergamot to give it a different taste profile than the typical English tea. I'll put some banners up here, like what is English tea and so forth. But an English tea is a black tea. Normally it's a blend of different types of black teas that were cultivated in the British Empire, mostly in India. Back in the day, I'll put a banner up here for the history of tea. So it's essentially a black tea. Earl Grey is a black tea infused with bergamot. So our tea is a black tea infused with bergamot, the classic Earl Grey, but then we have pieces of blue flower in it, which bring a subtle taste difference to the classic Earl Grey. Also, seasonally, we will sell a green tea Earl Grey, green Earl Grey. So going back to the point. So how do you know when you're drinking a really crappy Earl Grey? Well, number one, the obvious sign is you're drinking packeted Earl Grey. That in itself, whether it be Lipton or Twinings, no offense to these brands, or whatever tea packet Earl Grey, right there you're getting crap, because open it up. If you have this Earl Grey at home, just regular Earl Grey, to open it up, look at the packet. You can see through the packet that it's just sand, essentially sand of black tea. CTC, crushed, torn, curl, black. We've talked about before, there's two types of black tea. The purest would like the orthodox, which is the actual leaves that are cut up into bigger pieces. But most of the black tea that you drink, either in sweet tea form, iced tea, or in a lot of the English teas and the Earl Greys, are going to be pulverized into this sand. So when you look at your Earl Grey, and certainly if you cut open the tea packet and pour it out, you're going to see that it's this inferior, low-grade black tea. So what are you going to get with that? Well, the taste profile, honestly, is going to suck. It's just going to suck because you're getting low grade. It's like eating Jack in the Box food when you're expecting to get like a nice steak from a steakhouse. So right there in itself, it tells you that if you're getting tea packeted Earl Grey, it's not going to have a good taste profile. Number two is bad Earl Grey is going to leave this weird taste in your mouth after you drink it. There's good tastes in your mouth after you drink tea, and there's bad. One that I think is good is licorice. Licorice is a little more viscous in its infusion, so when you drink it almost coats your tongue, but it's a nice coating of the tongue. It has a great sensation to it. But Earl Grey, if it's inferior Earl Grey, the problem with that is that you're going to have this, I don't know how to explain, just this lingering, yucky, like almost like coffee breath, this coffee breath, but it's like Earl Grey breath on your tongue afterwards. So how do you know when you're drinking good quality Earl Grey? Well, the number one criteria is that it's going to be loose leaf Earl Grey. That in itself tells you it's going to be a better quality right there. But the other test is, of course, it's not going to have this lingering garbagey taste on your tongue. It's going to be much more fresher, a much more lighter Earl Grey. And the liqueur, the color of it is also going to look better. So my takeaway to you, as I'm about to go take out the bones of St. Peter and other bones of old popes, is stay away from packeted tea in general. Should you choose to buy our tea, that's great, or buy another loose leaf company, that's great. But again, you're like, have high expectations for yourself. Obviously, if you're drinking Earl Grey or any tea, you like tea, So if you like tea, why settle for inferior tea, albeit it's infinitely, let's say, cheaper? But we have an episode here how per ounce loose leaf tea is comparable to grocery store tea. I'll remember to put a banner up here. But don't settle for crappy Earl Grey, because Earl Grey, if you like black teas, is an amazing tea. That and probably chai are my two favorite black tea blends, which is not like a popular opinion. A lot of people like these two. I'm not a big fan of just black tea by itself. So if you really like Earl Grey because you like that infusion of the bergamot oil in it, then get a good quality Earl Grey. And these two things will help you. So get loose leaf and get one where after you taste it doesn't have that lingering taste on your tongue. Guys, post in the comments. What's your take on Earl Grey? Do you like Earl Grey? I'd love to hear from you. Until next time, take care, God bless, and pray.